smoked pork shank with a deep mahogany bark and fall off the bone tenderness. This is what happens when traditional brining meets low and slow smoking. Here's exactly how to make it. Starting with a pork shank already trimmed by the butcher saves significant time. The heavy work is done. Now the real flavor building begins. The brine is simple but powerful. Half a liter of hot water, half a liter of beer, 50 grams of coarse salt, 50 grams of brown sugar, and aromatics from the rub. Mix everything in the hot water until the salt and sugar dissolve completely. Here's the critical step most people miss. This brine must cool completely before the meat goes in. Hot brine will cook the exterior of the meat and create an uneven texture. Let it cool to room temperature or refrigerate it. Set aside about 1 cup of the brine. This reserved portion will be used later during the cooking process. Once the brine is cold, submerge the pork shank completely. Cover it and place it in the refrigerator overnight. This allows the salt and flavors to penetrate deep into the meat, ensuring moisture and taste throughout. After the overnight rest, remove the shank and discard all the used brine. Do not reuse it. Pat the meat dry completely, removing any brine residue left on the surface that can harbor bacteria. A dry surface will develop a better crust during smoking. The smoker is preheating to 100 degrees Celsius using cherry wood pellets. Cherry provides a mild, slightly sweet smoke that complements pork perfectly without overpowering it. While the barbecue heats up, apply the rub to the meat. First, a thin layer of mustard to bind it, then the first rub. The first rub adds a spicy touch. The second rub adds aroma. Once the meat is completely coated, we can start cooking. Place the shank directly on the grate. Now the waiting begins. The goal is to develop a dark, flavorful bark on the exterior. As the meat smokes, watch the surface transform. The proteins and sugars caramelize, creating that signature mahogany crust. When the internal temperature reaches 64 to 66 degrees Celsius, it's time for the foil wrap. Lay out a large piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil. This is where the reserved brine comes back into play. Place the shank in the center. Pour the reserved brine over the meat. Add several tablespoons of butter. The butter adds richness and helps keep the meat moist during the final push. Wrap the foil tightly, sealing all edges to trap the steam inside. This creates a braising environment that breaks down the tough connective tissue. Return it to the smoker and continue cooking until the internal temperature reaches 94 to 96 degrees Celsius. When the target temperature is reached, remove it from the smoker. Carefully open the foil. The aroma is incredible. Look at that bark, dark, caramelized, packed with flavor. The meat is pulling away from the bone, a sign of perfect doneness. The interior is tender and juicy, with smoke penetration visible in the smoke ring. One bite tells the whole story. The brine kept it moist. The smoke added depth. The low and slow method made it fall apart tender. This is smoked pork shank done right. Try this method and taste the difference.